हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु माता जी नमः प्रणाम. Right, so there we are live. Okay. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. I invite you to the early morning short Bhagavatam class for and on behalf of Radha Govinda Temple, ISKCON, Kolai, Bengaluru. And indeed on behalf of His Grace Sri Divine, His Grace Sri Ramanishradas Prabhuji. We shall begin with our prayers. Prayers are very important. That is to get the right understanding of the message of the God and put that into practice. Without putting it into practice, it doesn't really carry any meaning at all. Om Agyan Taminandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Request you to follow me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ॐ
नमो
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ॐ
नमो
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Na- Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam
नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं
वरं चैव नरोत्तमम्
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire.
देवीं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं वेदये
Turnatam Swakataha Krishna Punya Kirtanaha
शृण्वतां स्वकता कृष्णः पुण्ये श्रवणकीर्तनः
Adayanta Soyapadrani Vidunoti Surisatam
अभद्राणि विधिनोति
भद्राणि
सताम्
विदन्ति सुकृतम्
Nashtapraeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki
भगवती
उत्तम श्लोके मध्ये भगवते नैष्ठिकी
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, daily recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam removes all inauspicious things from our life and brings Uttama Sloka, Lord Krishna, and the Naistiki Bhakti along with it. Take just 10 seconds. There we go. Okay, those who want to recite the verse, it's a 6th canto, 1st chapter, 51st and 52nd verse. Both have small purports, so we'll be able to do these 2 verses. Okay. Vijaya Kumari Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणव प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तत् एतत् षोडशकलं लङ्गं शक्तित्रयं महत् तत्ते अनुसंसुदीं पुंसि हर्षशोक भयातिदां थैंक यू प्रभु जी
Thank you very much, Mataji. Chitra Mohini Devidasi, you and Subbarao Prabhuji are the co-hosts, trying to make Prakash Rao also. Go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Chitra Mohini Devidasi. Hare Krishna.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तदेतत् षोडशकलं लिङ्गं शक्तित्रयं महत् दत्ते अनुसंस्कृतिं पुंसि हर्षशोकाभयार्तिधाम् हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी थैंक यू प्रभु जी
Thank you. Pranandandini Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तत् एतत् षोडशकलं लिङ्गं शक्तित्रयं महत् भक्ति अनुसंस्मृतिं पुंसि हर्षशोकभयार्तिदम् हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी थैंक यू प्रभु
Thank you. Usha Dayanvati Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तत् एतत् षोडशकलं लिंगं शक्तित्रयं महत् तत्ते अनुसंस्मृतं पुंसि हर्षशोकभयार्तितं थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्णा
Thank you, Mataji. Subbarao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. You are my co-host
Hare
also.
Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Pranam Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tadetat Chodashakalam Lingam Sektitrayam Mahat. Dattenu Samsrutim Pumsi Harsha Shoka Bhayartidam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. Pushpa Yashomati Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तथेतत् षोडशकलं लिङ्गं शक्तित्रयं महत् तत्ते तु संसृतं पुंसि हर्षशोकभयातिदां हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी थैंक यू प्रभु जी
Venkata Narasimhadas Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Tadetat Shodasakalam Lingam Chaktitrayam Mahat Datte Anusamsritim Pumsi Harshasoka Bhayatidam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय तदेतत् षोडशकलं लिङ्गं शक्तित्रयं महत् धत्ते अनुसंश्रितं पुंसि हर्षशोकभयार्तिदाम्. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Uttama Padma Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. तदेतच्चोडशकलं लिङ्गशक्तित्रयं महत् तत्ते अनुसंस्कृतिं पुंसि हर्षशोकाभयार्दिताम्. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Uttama Padma Devi Dasi ji. Can you read synonyms for us?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Thus, therefore, etat, this, Shodashakalam, made of 16 parts, namely the 10 senses and the mind and the 5 sense objects, Lingam, the subtle body, Sakti Trayam, the effect of the 3 modes of material nature, Mahat, insurmountable, Datte gives, Anusamsritam, almost perpetual rotation and transmigration in different types of bodies, Pumsi, unto the living entry, Harsha, jubilation, Shoka, lamentation, Baya, fear, Arti, misery, Dham, which gives. Correct, Prabhuji?
Thank you very much, Padma Devi Dasi ji, for your wonderful synonyms. Thank you. Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A subtle body is endowed with 16 parts. The 5 knowledge acquiring senses, 5 working senses, 5 object of sense gratification, and the mind. This subtle body is an effect of the three modes of material nature. It is composed of insurmountably strong desires, and therefore it causes the living entity to transmigrate from one body to another in human life, animal life, and the life as a demigod. When the living entity gets the body of a demigod, he is certainly very jubilant. When he gets a human body, he is always in lamentation. And when he gets the body of an animal, he is always afraid. In all conditions, however, he is actually miserable. His miserable condition is called samsriti or the transmigration in material life. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The sum and substance of material conditional life is explained in this verse. The living entity, the 17th element, is struggling alone life after life. This struggle is called samshirti, or material conditional life. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the force of material nature is unsurmountably strong. Daiviya esa guna gunamai mammaya duratyate. Material nature harasses the living entity in different bodies, but if the living entity surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes free from these entanglements, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mam Evai. Thus, his life becomes successful. I think we'll take the purport together. Let's go through the second verse as well. Because purports of yesterday's sloka, today's, and probably next 2 days sloka are in line with each other, quite pretty connected to each other. Who would like to recite this verse?
Shalai Prabhuji? Shalai?
Venkatana Siyadas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Dehyagno ajitava shadvargo nechan karmani karyate osakara ivatmanam karmanat achadya muhyati. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Madhumai Vilasini Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय देहि अज्ञा अजीत षडवर्गो नेक्षन कर्माणि कार्यते कोशकार इवात्मानं कर्मणा क्षाध्य मुह्यति थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण
Pranadandini Madhavi Devi Dasi ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दहि अग्न्यो अजित षड्वर्गो नेच्छन् कर्मणि कार्यते कोशकार इवात्मानं कर्मणच्छाद्य मुह्यति हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी थैंक यू प्रभु जी
Chitra Mohini Devi Dasi ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय देहाग्नोजित षड्वर्गो नेचन कर्माणि कार्यते कोशकारा इव आत्मानं कर्मणा चाद्य मुह्यति हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी
Thank you. Usha Dayanvati Devi Dasi ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय देहि आज्ञो अजित सत्वर्गो न इच्छान कर्माणि कार्यते कोशकार इव आत्मानां कर्मणा आचाद्य मुह्यति थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण
Subharao Prabhu ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Dehyagno shadvargo nechan karmani karyate koshakar ivatmanam karmana chadya muhyati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Uttama Padma Devi Dasi ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी देहि आज्ञा अजित षट्वर्गः न इच्छान् कर्माणि कार्यते कोशाकार इव आत्मानं कर्मणा आच्छाद्य मुह्यति हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी
Thank you, Mataji. Subharao Prabhu ji, can you read synonyms for us? Hare Krishna.
Dehi.
Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dehi,
Go
the embodied soul. Ajnaha, without perfect knowledge. Ajita Satvargaha, who has not controlled the senses of perception and the mind. Na icham, without deciding. Karmani, activities of material benefit. Karyate, it is caused to perform. Koshakara, the silkworm, Iva, like, Atmanam, himself, Karmana, by fruitive activities, Achadya, covering, Mukhyati, become bewildered. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very, very kind of you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The foolish embodied living entity, inept at controlling his senses and mind, is forced to act according to the influence of the modes of material nature against his desires. He is like a silkworm that uses its own saliva to create a cocoon and then becomes trapped in it with no possibility of getting out. The living entity trapped himself in a network of his own fruitive activities and then can find no way to release himself. Thus, he is always bewildered and repeatedly he dies. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As already explained, the influence of the modes of material nature is very strong. The living entity entangled in different types of fruitive activities is like a silkworm trapped in cocoon. Getting free is very difficult unless he is helped by the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. The sequence of verses that are correlated to each other actually begins much earlier at 45. So from 45 to 55 are all the verses, sorry, that's from 30 to 55 are all the verses which are interconnected, mainly connected with the conversation between the Yamaduta and the Yamadutas and the Vishnudutas. You remember the story very well that there was some dispute that arose while Yamadutas were picking up the soul of the Jamila. Vishnuduta intervened because at the last moment he uttered the name Narayana. That was quite good enough for them to consider him a devotee and take with a special chariot. Since there was some kind of a standoff between the Yamdutas and the Vishnudutas, they started conversing with each other, and in the process, as it happens everywhere in the world, in the spiritual world also, they started testing each other's knowledge, human, and perception of sensitivity about the subject they are dealing with. In this process, now we are witness for last 25 verses about the body, about the embodiment, about our own way of living and how we get entangled and remain again and again transmigrating from one body to another. What we learned yesterday was the jiva enjoys with its 16 elements. We talked about 16 elements yesterday as Prema Kishori Mataji told us in great detail about the 5 working senses, 5 knowledge gathering senses, 5 sense objects, making it 15, and 16 is the mind, without which nothing works. And most of the time, the mind is our foe. Very rarely he really befriends Jiva. And we also learned that the Jiva becomes the 17th element and starts enjoying the kind of situation that he is in. Either he is very happy, he is in distress, or he is having a mixed feeling. So that's all about the life of Jiva, entangled in 3 modes of material nature and befriending all the 16 elements. And we also learned that it is the soul which is solely responsible for the feeling of either happiness, distress, or a mixed feeling. In this sloka, we are learning that there is some kind of perpetual transmigration. What it means is we keep on taking birth and keep on dying perpetually so that we can't even number them, we can't even remember them, we can't even understand them. Said here very nicely, as Srila Prabhupada explains, that the subtle body, again consisting of those 16 elements, and those 16 elements, when they get together, and the jiva falls into a trap of three modes of material nature, then that typical dance of the Mother Nature and the three modes begins in the form of entanglement. And the jiva continues to migrate from one body to another body. So verse 50 was describing mainly the life of jiva and how he is having feelings, happiness, distress, or a mixed feeling. But he was all the time lamenting. In this verse, it's explained that how the transmigration occurs and how we change our bodies as we change our clothes. Srila Prabhupada says that when the jiva gets the body of demigods, he is joyful and jubilant. When he gets the body of the human being, naturally he is in lamentation. And when he gets the body of an animal, he is in great anxiety. So, in other words, when one gets the body, they get the bundle of feelings along with it. And this remains with you, keeping you all the time bewildered. Mind you, this is nothing to do with the perception, has nothing to do with the subtle body. It has everything to do with the soul again. The further sloka, next sloka, goes on explaining how Jiva gets entangled himself into three modes of material nature, and that entanglement is endless as he keeps on transmigrating from one to another body. Srila Prabhupada explains it with a nice analogy that it's like silkworm. He has his own saliva and turns around into the worm bag and creates a kind of a cocoon. This cocoon then is so strong, entangling himself from all sides, that he has no way to get out of it. We use a typical word that he cornered himself while painting. If you are painting the floor of the house or a room, you can paint from the doorways right in and can easily corner yourself into one of the remote corner in the room, and that part remains, the remaining floor is already painted, so you can't walk out of the room. This is very typical to what happens here, and that's how it has been described here. The life becomes very miserable once the fruitive activities start, and it does not have any end because the fruitive activities create reactions, and most of the reactions are sinful reactions, and the account of sinful reaction keeps climbing, and that puts you into a position of a debt, and so you keep taking birth again and again. The unfortunate part is when you start entering into a debt situation, you end up getting the bodies of lower species of animals, and your possibility of escaping by doing pious activities as it happens either in the demigods or in the human form seeks away from you, and you have less and less chance of really evoluting yourself into a better position. So this is like a catch-22 situation. Because you can't do something, you can't reach there. And because you can't reach there, simply because you can't do something, as commonly happens in most of the immigration facilities all over the world, if you try and migrate to another country, a greener pasture, then there is a nice catch-22 that they all have set up. You get the employment, then we'll give you immigration. And immigration says, that's what immigration says. And when your employers say that you get the immigration, we'll give you the job. So no one does it first, and so you end up going back home. The only way Srila Prabhupada says is his material entanglement is so strong and so unsurmountable that if you are thinking you could somehow win it over, that is not possible. When winning over is not possible, there is a typical English saying in our material world, if you can't win them, join them. Srila Prabhupada uses the same basic principle. You certainly can't win Lord. You can't certainly win the God. You were wrong in the first place to start a war with the Lord. So if you start a war with the Lord, you end up defeating yourself. And the only way out is surrender to the Lord. The moment you surrender to the Lord, as Prema Kishori Mataji was explaining yesterday, immediately Lord takes over. And when he takes over, why are you worried for anyone else at all? He is the Supreme Personality. He is all beautiful, all strong, all happy, all renounced, and still very, very, very powerful Father of ours. We are so lucky that we are part and parcel of that absolute truth, which has unlimited potencies, and no one has even known all those potencies as yet. It's only he who knows all about himself. None of us, none of the living entity, none of the devatas, none of the demigods, none of any one of his expansion knows everything about Lord Krishna. The knowledge about Lord Krishna is only begotten with his own mercy, and he decides how much one gets. Not only the knowledge, he also decides who to get the darshan, how much and what part of his is to be viewed by his Shuddha Bhaktas. Such a great personality, there is all the reason that anyone would surrender who is bewildered. In sloka 50, 51, and 52, at the end it is said that the soul is so bewildered, so confused and entangled in his own cocoon, that he is left with no choice. In any case, Deraya Durustaya, if we come back and we surrender, then the Lord takes over and takes us out of the ocean of anarthas. I explained to you what I learned some time ago in one of the courses, that the ocean that we can't really cross over is made up of nothing else but all the offenses and anarthas that we created and did in this life and millions of life before. So it's our own creation. We have to abolish them, we have to remove them, or we have to transcend them to cross over. And for that, you have to become offenseless and not creating anarthas, but at the same time purifying yourself. Srila Prabhupada has explained to us all in great detail that the only way to purify yourself is Nam Japa, following the four regulated principles and strictly following the rules and regulations that we belong to Krishna conscious movement. If this bhakti is begun, bhakti yoga is the surest path of reaching to the Lord. And if you begin the bhakti, though with rules and regulations following and doing it with a mind all the time, gradually becomes perpetual and you do everything automatically as you drive after a long experience, a car or a vehicle automatically. You really don't think that, oh, I must brake now. You just brake it. Or I must accelerate now. You always accelerate the way you lie. So that's all automatic process. So that is what we call a regulatory sadhan bhakti and a spontaneous bhakti. Spontaneous phase takes us to a raganuga bhakti, which then ultimately aims at creating bhava and prema within us for the Lord, and transaction of these rasas, and these rasas create the rati in us, and we get ourselves continuously released from all the material bondages, transcend all the material laws, including three modes, and continuously remain absorbed in a loving, transcendental, devotional service of the Lord. What could one offer a better position or a better situation where you always remain in a true form, and your true form is Sat Chit Anand. You are eternal, you are cognizant, and you are blissful. All these three positions are only possible when we adopt our constitutional position of serving the Lord without any purpose and seamlessly. So it is saying that the devotional service, which is selfless and which is seamless, is the devotional service we describe in our devotional service without any purpose. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying, the pure bhakti. And by pure bhakti of this kind, we get purified so well. I'm sure you must be feeling when you do Nam Japa. Couple of things that I recently came across, which I would like to share with you, is it is said that if you do Nama Japa with only the tip of your tongue, and all you need to do is pronounce the Nama Japa by tip of tongue and hear it, that will automatically keep your mind under your control, and the japa would be pronounced most perfectly. Use the tip of the tongue while you are doing your Nama Japa. They also say that if you join pranayama with it, then it becomes very easy to control your mind. Controlling the mind is the main problem in doing Nama Japa and purifying ourselves. These are the two great answers recently I got and tried, and it works very well. By doing pranayama, what I mean is, suppose you do 3 japas in one breath or 4 japas in one breath, count them, hear them, and then take your breath. This way, you automatically do your physical exercises, keep your body fit, and at the same time, purify your heart and mind. It's a wonderful way, and Srila Prabhupada has taught it that way, which is said so well in these 3 verses. Any question, any doubts, any Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained in the commentary that Tat means Jiva, Lingam, which is used in this verse 51, means subtle body, and Sakti Trayam, that is 3 modes of material nature. The subtle body produces repeated birth, and to avoid for the jiva, hard to avoid. So the subtle body actually produces repeated births, which is very hard for jiva to avoid. And the commentary of the 52nd verse is, though sometimes the jiva does not want to do activities, he is forced to do so by the subtle body. So these things are not really under our control. Our subtle body will force us to do the activities, and then he becomes bewildered like a silkworm and does not know how to get out of the entanglement. Whenever in doubt, going back to Godhead or taking ashray or shelter of the Lord, completely surrendering unto the Lord is always the best answer. Any question, any doubts, any revelation, any addition, any comments, please go ahead. Hare Krishna to everyone. If there are no comments, I think it's 6:30. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya krupavasindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you very much for attending the class.
Hare
I
Krishna.
really
Thank you,
appreciate
Prabhuji.
it. Thank you, and
Thank you,
all of
Prabhuji.
you. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna to everyone. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.